Wow. Oh my God. Tweaking these fucking set. Oh my God. This shit is so frustrating. You have no idea. Even with AI, because they all tell you something different, especially when you're doing noise suppression and any little sound and you're breathing and the attack, the release. It's all different types of settings. It's just really complex. But, all right. Yesterday, I filmed that one other little clip and I realized it was way too late. So it gave me time to freshen up my mind, so I could recite what I need to recite out of my memory and shit. And I realized once I started going through all like my shit that I sent back from county that I filed every little fucking thing. Like I have different sheets that they lay out on the tables inside the unit. Like they just put all different, like one of them, the worst one, the ones that all the guards and COs hated is the grievance. I'll show you what a grievance is. I have the inmate handbook. The handbook is essentially the Bible of the prison. And this is your law book as well. Most people don't know there's a jail inside the jail as well as prison, same thing. And this book can be used as your law book. So if you choose to go to court line and fight your charge in prison, you also get down in state, not county, you get a paralegal who can support you or represent you and talk on your behalf. And some of these guys are really fucking good. They practice law all day in jail. And then some of them come out and they're like legit fucking lawyers. But then again, I don't know how that works with a felony. But I'm sure they're good lawyers if they do pull it off. Anyway, so where do we leave off? We left off with, I was just about to get into the food, the commissary, and stuff like that. But there was one more thing I wanted to talk about in county about the laundry. So there is another option with your laundry, and that's cleaning it yourself. Now, how do you clean your own laundry yourself? There's going to be a handful of ways, creative ways that other people say. I mean, you can get the mop bucket. If you're lucky, you're friends with a CO, you put a plastic bag in it. But typically, that's not going to be the case. So what we would do is we'd just fill up the sink. Now, the sinks are absolutely horrible. It's literally a little metal button that you have to hold in. Imagine you just have to hold it in to do anything, to wash your hand, to brush your teeth. Like there's no knob. And this is so much more important than you really think. You take such small things like this for granted. And I realized this once I made it to a camp, the camps, and they had a knob for the sink and the sink was porcelain. I was like, oh my God. Like this is the first thing I think of. I'm like, porcelain toilet bowl, porcelain sink, regular shower with a regular knob and a regular shower head. So the other thing is trying to get bleach. Now, it's very, very hard to get your hands on bleach. It's a commodity in jail. Sometimes you can get the liquid. If you're cool with a CO, he'll get a gallon from wherever the hell he gets it from, and he'll break some people off with it. It's usually made to clean, to put into spray bottles, because you have the tier workers, the house workers. There's usually 5, 6, 7. It depends with the 2 COs who have their term. So they get a term. I think it's like 3 months, could be 6 months, where they do, I forget the exact word that they use, but I'm just going to call it a term. And they're like they could be day shift term or night shift. So you have mainly your 2 main guards that you see all the time that you kind of build the relationship with, 2 in the day and then 2 in the evening. And then the late night guards, you never really see them unless they're walking around, and you're up late. I'll get into that later too. So cleaning your clothes in the sink, you would say, all right, Nick, well, how do I dry them? So what you got to do is you got to get a sheet, an extra sheet, and you rip it. And every time you rip a sheet, it tends to rip in a strip, a long strip. And then you tie these together and then you string it up from 2 points in the cell, right? For some reason in this county, in Monmouth County, they fucking hate this and they flip out. Not every CO, but a good amount of them. So, for example, I was beefing with the laundryman. I'm like, I don't want this motherfucker touching my clothes. I do not trust him. All my shit's fresh. Like, I was the type of inmate where I had 15 pairs of boxes, 20 pairs of socks. No exaggeration. I always wanted to have fresh shit like I did in real life. So, especially him thinking that and knowing that, he could easily lose something, especially if it wasn't being cleaned in the bag. I paid for my laundry. And I knew I was going to eventually snap out on this guy. He was like a tall Puerto Rican guy. He was older. This guy had to be like pushing almost 60. He looked younger, but he wasn't. And he like cup up his pants with his like socks hanging out. Like he was like a Cali Niete or something, like Cali gang member, but he wasn't. He was a fucking bum. So, and he'd walk with like a gangster bop, and he screw his face up. They call him New York. Yeah, New York. I don't know what part. I don't know if he was from Brooklyn or Queens. But originally I was cool with him, but he was just such a miserable, nasty piece of shit. This guy he just hated life. So, anyway, so I clean I'm cleaning my clothes in the sink. Obviously I get my hands on bleach and, I string my stuff up to dry and I'm sleeping. Yo, one of the guards who's making his rounds. Boom, boom, boom. Take that fucking line down. I'm like, what? Take the clothing line down now. And I'm on the top bunk. I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, yo, you fucking kidding me right now? I'm like, you really making me take a... Like, yo, he's passing... I don't know. They'll usually do 2 units at night. Like the one guard. I'm like, yo, you really gonna wait? You have to be a real scumbag. Like, yo, this guy, this grown-ass man's just trying to do his laundry and dry it. And you're sitting here banging on the glass with your flashlight to wake him up to unhook his lines. It's not like I had a line. Well, you could also do, some people will make a line from one end of the bunk to the other end and make curtains, to have some privacy. Oh my God. You know what they do? So at night, since I'm on this topic, at night, what they do is they go around, I think it's every 30 minutes. Could be an hour, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's every 30 minutes. And they're usually the initial round, when they first come in for the shift, they start banging on all the doors. Not every CO does this because it's really fucked up. You want to know why they bang on it? To make sure that you're alive. Like, bro, I'm fucking sleeping. How am I supposed to move in my sleep? You're waking me up. So the COs that would do that, we'd fucking play, please let it not be this guy tonight, please. Because they wake you up. Now, another thing people don't know is inside the cells, there's no light switch and there's no outlets. Mind you, this is county, prison is different. So in this county, they don't have light switches. Now, there is a night light that goes on. The light is maybe like 4 feet wide by like, I don't know, 1.5 feet tall, maybe a foot. And it's just like a acrylic shield across it. I'll try and grab a picture if I could. So what people would do is they'd put like toothpaste or soap and they'd grab sheets of paper or whatever they can, MacGyver and stick it on to black it out. But if you didn't want the COs to snap out, you would do just pieces of paper so some light would still shine through and they wouldn't bust your balls about it. You'd have some COs, well, a lot of them would come around and flip out while you're sleeping to wake you up. Take that light block down now. What I would do is I'd get a little piece of cardboard and I'd like make these 2 little tabs where I could like let it fold down. And then as soon as he left, I'd fucking just flip it back up. Instead of you having to rip it down, you don't have to reapply it later on. So it's almost like I made like some type of latch or like a hook. But then if he comes around again and sometimes he'd just be like, oh, fuck it. Or if he's a real asshole, he'll just keep pressing. So, when you're on the top bunk and you have the light shining in your eyes, all night long, it's it's really hard to sleep. Now, if you're the type of person who needs to sleep in pitch black, then yeah, you'd be fucked up. So what would we do? We would take, well, I would take a t-shirt, I'd roll it up, I get a nice soft one, and I tie it around my eyes. Like instead of tying it like a headband, tied it around my eyes like what do you call the thing that you has a little strap on it? Sleeping mask. So I even thought, I was like, yo, I'm gonna make a sleeping mask. I ended up sewing one because you didn't have sewing equipment in the county, but you did in state. So I made a lot of stuff once I started. I was able to start sewing. I'll get into that later. So sleeping pillow situation. Since we're on this topic, it's horrible. And like I said in the first video, if you make anything, people will use extra jumpsuits. You only get 2 jumpsuits. If they find out you have more than 2, because they raid your cell at least, I think it's at least 3 times a week. That's raiding. Now, you also have during the day, your daytime CO will go into cells and collect extras, right? He doesn't hit every single cell. He can pick and choose who he wants to hit. Or he'll pick one whole floor, usually. Oh, is he doing top floor, middle floor, bottom floor today? So if you see him starting, you're like, oh, thank God he's not hitting our cell. Thank God. Because if you made a pillow or you had anything extra, an extra blanket, an extra sheet, an extra jumper, an extra towel, they need to like go back to this is the one thing that pissed me off like a lot in county. Because it's like, yo, you're taking another grown man's like bedding, like where he sleeps. Like this is like a, how do you say it? My bed is like my sanctuary, you know what I mean? Like this is my house. You're coming into my home and you're destroying my house several times a week. So I'll explain the difference between the two. So when they come around, they collect clothing, but when they do their searches, they hit you early in the morning. Like just before you come out in the morning. I actually have the schedule. I wrote down everything. These are all different files of different types of paperwork. Let me put this behind me. These are all commissary receipts. I have my commissary lists, what the commissary bubble sheets look like. Where the hell did it go? Give me a second here. No, I had it. Come on. What is this? Oh, I'd write down things I had to do the next day. Pay John, pay Mike's balance, get dough on accounts, clean cell, call, make phone calls. That was Thursday, 7th of March. Day 29. Oh, shit. All right. It's got to be behind me. Like, if you want to write, you could only get a blank piece of paper, or you just draw on the back of one of the pages that they put out on one of the tables, which is on the left and the right of the CO's desk, which is in the middle of the cell block, if you want to call it that. So we wake up 7 a.m. They do the Suboxone early in the morning. They line everybody up in a stool. Now in the other units, they don't do this. They have the nurse come in with like a rolly cart full of meds, and you just get in line. You get in the med line. So breakfast is at 8 a.m. And then Sunday visits, 9:30 a.m. Monday visits, 11:30 a.m. We lock in at 1:30. Then you sleep or chill out, do whatever you want from 1:30 to 4:30. You're supposed to get out. You don't always. Shit can happen. You can be on lockdown. When you get back in, it's usually a shift change. So usually that shift will bring... Oops. This watch. All I do is hit this button on this Apple Watch. This design is absolutely retarded. So when you get out of the cell, when the second CO comes in, because there's always two, he'll usually bring the mail at 5 o'clock. And in the mail, you hope you get one of these sheets. I'll show you in a second. 8:45 is when we lock back in for the night to go to sleep. And then they turn the lights off immediately. Like, that little nightlight thing is all you have, which is fucking annoying. It's like, yo, what if you want to stay up and read? Like, if you sit on the top bunk, you can actually read with enough light. But they also, do they sell the book lights in county? I don't think so. I think that was just downstate. All right, so one of these, when someone would send you money, you'd get one of these sheets. But usually the money would hit before you got the mail. Hold on one second. So you can see that somebody sent me $150, and it doesn't say who sent it. Usually someone comes to the prison and drop off a money order. And 150, the reason why it's 150 is $150 is a max out bag. Yeah, it's 150 or 200. I think it's 150. I get confused with state. 150. No, because this one's 196, this receipt. So it has to be 200. I think they bumped it up. It was 150 at one point. So, I don't know. I feel like in Monmouth County, they're just on your ass. You're getting raided in the morning, like I was saying before. They try and catch you off guard. So they have all different tactics. If they get word back that they know there's K2 smoke, they won't say nothing, and they think they know who it is, they'll hit you at any time that they think is going to catch you off guard. So what do people do? I mean, you got to hide that shit good. If you got something in there, contraband, you got to hide it. It's just a way of life in prison. Straight up. I mean, having two little mini radios is contraband. Having extra batteries for those radios is contraband. Like, everything could be labeled contraband that the prison doesn't want you to have. Double of, or extra of, or it could be tobacco. I mean, I think it was kind of hard to smoke, in my personal opinion, in county, but because compared to the state prison I was in, they would just do it like pretty much out in the open for the most part. There was some COs in state that they were like fucking psychopaths, but not all of them. Less than not. So the way people would smoke is, I learned a trick where you'd fill a garbage bag up with air. You poke a hole in it, and what you do is you jump on top of the toilet bowl seat and you shoot the air through the toilet bowl. So what happens is all the water shoots out of the bowl, right? Now you have a whole line, and basically an empty pipeline that with gravity, since gravity is pulling in that direction, it actually creates negative pressure. So it will pull the smoke. So you can sit next to the toilet bowl on the side and blow the smoke directly into the toilet bowl, and it'll lightly pull it out. And then, obviously exit the building at some point. But not always. Sometimes if you're in the wrong cell and that pipe has an exhaust to an auxiliary closet or something, and it starts stinking in the middle, they smell smoke. And then all of a sudden, you'll be locked in your cell at whatever time of the day and just whoop, come in, you spread on the wall, turn around, pat you down, and go through your cell. They kind of usually have an idea of who they think it is, and they'll hit them really hard. Now, one day I got hit really hard. And this was in the first unit I was in, where I don't know what they thought I had, but I had my store running at full-fledged, like convenience store, walk-in shop. And I guess they thought I had drugs. And I think it was this fat Nazi kid who thought he was black. Mind you, it's an oxymoron. I think he got caught with something, and he ratted on me and this kid, Hemi. So us three of us get pulled out of our cell, and I didn't know this, but they bring in fucking dogs. State police come into the prison. So it's a separate entity. And they got drug sniffing dogs ripping through your shit. And my room got destroyed. I mean, just imagine boxes of food just dumped out and dumped, just like piles and piles of shit. I had so much stuff. You know what they found? Ougats, fucking nothing. I was like, that's what you get, you motherfuckers. Not in any of their cells, but one of them was that kid, Country, that rat fuck. I couldn't prove it though. But later on, when he was in a K2, I don't know, high, he admitted to someone something, but this someone wasn't that reliable of a source, even though he was a professional ear hustler. This professional ear hustler's name was called Trouble. Trouble claimed he was blood. He happened to be gay. Gay as fuck. Like, I don't even know how to describe it, but he denied that he was gay. He had the gay voice. This motherfucker, he 100% had to be a crack baby. He had one eye going this way, one eye going that way. You never knew what he was looking at. Like, are you looking at me? Or are you looking over there? And he used this shit to his fucking advantage. So, we're going to get back to the commissary and Cornbread. So, Cornbread knew that this kid, you know, was poor. He didn't have money. Mind you, this motherfucker was on the strongest drug out of everything. He was on like a high dose of methadone. I didn't know what methadone was till I went to jail. It's like a blue liquid. And it's so fucking strong. It's like the strongest drug that they prescribe anybody, anywhere. And you get certain milliliters. It could be like 75 milliliters or 150 milliliters, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. So he would just get his little blue bottle in the morning and then he'd be flying, right? So this is what they call ear hustlers in prison. So Trouble would sit, I don't know, on the staircase 50 feet away and just sit and watch by himself. I'd be talking about business or talking about something going on. And this motherfucker, bro, it's like he had supersonic hearing. Because one day he said something that I heard myself and I knew he was nowhere near around. I'm like, bro, how the fuck did you hear that? How is that possible? So he was a professional ear hustler and he would go back to Cornbread and feed him information. So when I started my store, to open a store, you need additional accounts from other people because you can't possibly just use your commissary amount and think you're going to have a successful store. It's just not possible. So you might think, well, don't those people all get commissary? Absolutely not. A lot of people, I'd say more than half, don't have any money. A lot of people in jail and prison are like straight live in poverty. So Cornbread never cut any deals with people. He would just bully people around and just use their accounts. Like, yo, I'm using your account. All you gotta do is sign it. I'm filling it out. Sign this. It's under your name. You give me the bag. That's it. So he bullied his way in. Me, I'm a businessman. I want everybody to be happy. I don't want to have anybody ever turn against me. And the more people I have on my side, the more people look out for me, right? But at the end of the day, usually people who are dirt poor like this, they're usually kind of like weak, frail. You know, they're not going to go back you up in a fight or nothing like that. Usually. I'm not saying that's all the time. So I know that this one little white kid, Kenny. Oh my God, Kenny. You want to know what Kenny was in jail for? So his dad was a drunk. Mind you, he looked like Chucky. He would never brush his teeth because he was on so many psych meds. He was just trying to numb everything in his body. He had a mother that lived somewhere else that he would talk to once in a while. The kid's basically dirt poor. He had he was a redhead with like a mushroom haircut, and he would shuffle, like slide with his orange slides across the floor. He'd be like, coffee? Coffee? Now, coffee in prison is a commodity. It is massive. It's huge. And in county, it's $7.50 a bag. That's expensive. $7.50 a bag gets you, I think, about, does it get you like 15 scoops of coffee? Like a cup? And I have the cup. Shit, I gotta grab it. I'll be right back. Actually got a stack of cups. Okay, so this is your coffee cup. So coffee is basically payment for people, right? So a bag of coffee getting bought from me is going to be $15. That's a expensive item for jail, you know, because if I'm buying for $7.50 and I'm selling for double, $15. So I tell Kenny, I go, yo, Kenny, is your account open? No. Cornbread uses it. I'm like, does he give you any money? No. Does he give you any food? Does he give you anything? No. You go, well, fuck him. I'll give you something. Don't worry about it. You're all good. Okay. So every person whose account I used, I'd give him like $15 worth of stuff, cost, not with me making any money on it. So they can order what they want to order when we do the order. And I wind up grabbing people easily, you know. Now, if you don't order for, I think it's 3 months straight, if nobody puts any money into your account, you're considered to be an indentured persons, which means you get, I think it's every 60 days or 30 days. I think it's maybe, it's between 60 and 90, 30. I forget exactly because I wasn't an indentured person. You get like 2 pairs of underwear, 2 t-shirts, 2 or 3 pairs of socks, and you get some stamps. It's not exactly just a stamp. I do have them. It's an envelope with a forever stamp on it. A forever stamp means it's good for life. No matter what inflation goes to, what the price goes to for stamps over the next, I don't know, 100 years, that stamp is still good to go. So stamps is also money. So people would trade with stamps. I would take these stamps all day long. I would take socks, underwears, anything of value I took as currency. Nobody did this. Nobody ran a business like I did. I'll get into those details in a little bit. So once I bought a couple things from Contraband because I had no choice, because Commissary is like, was it once every 2 weeks? Was it every week? Here's another one, 7:15. Because if you missed that your order, you were like pissed off. Like if something happened to it, it got lost, you were pretty mad because you're like, fuck, what am I going to do? Well, luckily there's a good store man around. So everybody knew that Cornbread's store was a fucking ripoff. He wasn't doing 2 for 1. Now, the thing is with 2 for 1 is back in the day, before there was Cash App, Venmo, and all these money exchange apps, you had to give them a 2 for 1. So if you got 2 soups or 1 soup from the store, you'd have to return 2, double, when you got your commissary. But now with Cash App and Venmo and all the other forms of payment, you can call your people and send it to his people's account. And it's instant money. You just call back again. Hey, you got the money? All right, cool. As long as these phones are easily accessible and you can get on them often. That's another problem. Now, in this unit, the phones were cake. It wasn't too bad to get on the phones. And it wasn't, you know, a bunch of gang violence. You had a lot of fucking mental patients, you know, who aren't really talking to the outside world. The way the phones work is you have to get put on the list. It's not like you can call any random number that you want. You have to put, I think it's every 60 or 90 days that you can put people on. You only get up to 10 numbers. So if people are like, oh, Nick, well, just call me. No, bro, I can't just call you. I have to put you on this list and you have to fill out a bubble sheet. Everything in prison is so old school that it takes a really long time And if you fill out a bubble sheet and you fill in one bubble wrong, you're fucked. It's done for. So this is just an example of what a bubble sheet looks like. This is the commissary bubble sheet. So even at the top, you have to do a bubble sheet of your inmate number or SBI number. If you fill in a single bubble wrong, you're shot. You're fucked. This is also double-sided. This is for commissary. So the phones. So what I would do is if someone bought above a certain threshold, let's say I forget exactly what I did. So it could be like, once you hit $50, you get 5% off. Once you hit 100, you get 15% off. And then you get a cap. I honestly forget. I should call Spider, ask him what deals I would give him. Even though that motherfucker still owes me like $140. Anyway, I'll get Spider on here one day. Spider is a character. I feel bad for the kid. He's basically an orphan at this point. He was adopted, autistic. He went to go like hurt his brother in a medical rage. Like he kind of like blacked out in the middle of the night and went to hurt him. I think he did hurt him. He didn't kill him. And he came into county at just 10 days after turning 18 years old. He was a little ass boy. So you see this little like autistic kid swinging from the fucking poles. What's up, guys? Hey, running into your cell. Like you don't just walk into people's cells, but it's Spider, you know? Like, what's up, Spider? What on? Please, I'm so hungry. Spider, you just borrowed this. I know I have a problem borrowing. I'm gonna stop. He would go write his raps on the computer. I'll explain the computer thing. So we're still on to the commissary thing. I'm not gonna get into my full-blown store just yet, or should I? I mean, I'm already there. I might as well just fucking go into it. So how does the commissary work? The commissary works, like I said, you fill out a bubble sheet. It has 42 slots. Now, I think I had to be the first motherfucker to be filling out double bubble sheets. And what I would do is I'd staple them together. This was either here in county or both. And we originally didn't know if it was going to work because it's like, oh, no, that's what's there. That's what you get. So I'm pretty sure I was doing double bubble sheets when I'd go past 42 items. So the way commissary works in both state and in county is so manual and slow. Now, I think they are changing this process through tablets and stuff now, but don't quote me on that. But if you look at it, like I showed you, you have to find, hold on, it's not zooming. Come on, there you go. This is the one side, this is the other side. Now, let me show you the menu. My preferences are... Oh my God. I hit this thing all day long. This is also double-sided. So there's going to be numbers. It's a 4-code number with the price next to each item. So you might think, well, Nick, what if that item's out of stock? How do you know? You don't. And that's what fucking sucks. So you can order a bunch of stuff. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait for these fucking Doritos, man. I can't wait. All of a sudden, or your shebangs. Shebangs is like a prison chip. It's basically a salt and vinegar mixed with barbecue. And I don't think they sell it to the general public. Maybe they started. Someone told me, yeah, you can get shebangs. I never seen them. They were banging, but they were very inconsistent. Anyway, you think you're getting them, and then the bag shows up. You get a big clear garbage bag. And they basically call your number. You got to come down with your ID from your room. Everyone's locked in. Go down. They'll do 4 to 5 people at a time. And you have the guy who works for the company. He has a big rolly bin with tons of bags. He goes from unit to unit to unit. And you dump the whole bag out and you go through your list. You go through your receipt like this, right? This is your receipt. Now, this receipt is actually important because they would say, if you have stuff in your cell or too much of something that does, you need a receipt. So if you don't have a receipt to prove your radio or your, I don't know, I forget really. Radio is one of them, batteries, certain, I guess, amounts of food. Like, oh, you have 50 soups. How do you have 50? How do you have 200 soups? Well, you said as long as I have receipts, and that's where the book comes in. You know? So as long as you're following the book, I mean, what do you want? You want to see a receipt? I got them. I saved every single fucking receipt. This is not all of them at all. This is just a couple. So you go through and you check off. And what would happen is you'd be like, oh, yo, I'm missing 2 of these jalapeno cheese snacks. So you'd go up to him. He'd come up to the table. He'd be like, all right, circle it. And then they would take an identical one and they'd refund your money. It's kind of hard to find out if they actually refunded you too. It's not like you can go on a fucking computer and check. So you don't really know. I mean, unless you know exactly how much is your account down to the penny. If you ask the CO, maybe he could look on the computer at the desk and see what you have in the account. I don't know. I just knew you'd have to go on their word, and they weren't the most organized of people. I think it was like a company out of PA. These commissary companies, oh, I want to get into the business so bad. They make so much fucking money. And the way it works is one person gets all of it, like that prison, but they got a bid on it. So what does that mean for the inmates? That means the inmates are getting the lowest quality dog shit you can possibly get. So from thermals, like this is thermal pants, right? This was the thermals we got. I also sold thermals. These are the socks. They're tube socks, but there's like no shape to them. It's like a straight tube. I don't know how to explain it. The quality of this stuff, like these underwears, look how big they look. This is a large, right? Looks humongous. As soon as you wash these, they shrink down to like a small. So as soon as you like move or you spread your legs a little too wide, right open. The quality is the cheapest of the cheap, low of the low. Every item on there is absolutely dog shit because who comes in with the lowest bid? You know, it's just not fair. But what does this mean for the prison? The prison also makes a shit ton of money because the prison, I think, essentially marks the prices for what they want to make. So let's just say, you know, a soup, I come as the vendor and I say, listen, soups are going to cost 50 cents to you. So, okay, cool. Well, we're making our menu where it's going to be $1.30. So they're making that much off of each soup and the prison makes a profit. So I'm talking to this kid one day, and this is before I did anything with the store. In the very beginning, he's like, oh, Cornbread's a fucking retard, bro. He literally has his food like he's in a supermarket. You know, he's going to get in trouble. You're not allowed to run a store. I was like, really? You can get in trouble for that? I'm like, why? He's like, you're just not allowed, bro. You can't do it. And I'm like, damn, this motherfucker has pull because it's right in the open. You know, I don't know any better. So, but still, if he can do it, I mean, fuck it. Why can't I do it? So this is my thought process the whole time. So I'm thinking I have to be really on the up and up. And that's why I save all my receipts. I do the right thing. And one day, the kid hear me when I ended up having my store. He's like, yo, you won with the store, right? Right in front of the CO. I thought he was trying to set me up. I'm like, what? No, I don't got nothing. And he was like, bro, what? He's like, yo, you got the store though, right? I'm like, bro, no, I don't. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. So then later I pull him aside. I'm like, bro, what? You know, I got the store, but you're saying in front of the CO. He's like, oh, that shit don't matter. I'm like, I don't know about all that. That's not what I was told. Also happened with a lady CO. She's like, she didn't know me, but she knew of me. She's like, you're the one with the store, right? I'm like, I don't got nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. every time she, oh yeah, I know you. You the one with the store. She's actually a pretty black girl. And I would have told the truth, but I just thought I'd get in trouble. I would have been like, yeah, I got the store. Why, you need something? I did get to that point where I was like, if any COs, they're not allowed to take nothing from you. But you know, I made a couple friends, you know. They're hungry. I mean, COs get hungry too. It's not like they're sitting on stacks of fucking cash either, where they could just go buy whatever the fuck they want. So, yo, you need something? You got to go search the cells, right? Go search and take whatever you want. I tell the COs anytime, take whatever you want. Really? Nah, bro. What do you want? I'll leave it out for you specifically so you don't got to dig. All right. Shove it in this shit. You know, some of the food on there, especially the nutty bars, which I think they wound up taking off. They were like the most popular item. Nutty bars are like these little it's like a chocolate covered wafer with peanut butter inside. Oh man, I wish I had one right now. Oh my God. Those things were banging. So back to me eventually getting this store up and running. Forget who was in my cell at the time. So basically, anybody who was in my cell, it was a problem. Not a problem, but I needed all the space I can get. And if you look at that one image, it's two little baby cubby holes like this. And then you have two shelves, one on this side, one on that side. And then you get the two little mini desks and the two little mini stools. And then you have underneath the bed. So it got to the point where I started getting creative. But when you have stuff that you acquire over time, I would always pray, I'm like, hope I get a cellie who just has nothing. Or I would be like, bro, I will buy your space. You see, because your cubby was very important to you. Like, that's where you put your personal shit. I'm like, bro, I'll buy your cubby space from you. What do you want? I'll give you cost on product, whatever you need. I'm like, bro, I'm the best bunkie you'll ever have. I got whatever you need. You live like a king. You live with me, you live like a king, straight up. Because nobody had the level of shit that I had. It got to the point where, I mean, I took up the entire cell. I mean, I had a store. There was nothing else I can do. I had a business. But my bunkie was eating good. I mean, even when my bunkie was shitty and he sucked, they all ate good. Even downstate, that's when tobacco came into the picture. Even if the bunkie was a piece of shit, I was still smoking them out, you know? I just felt bad, like, I'm sitting there eating, like, whatever the fuck I want, and they're just sitting there, like, drooling. That's what sucked. If you had a bad bunkie, it was a fucking nightmare. And if you have a bunkie that snores, good fucking luck going to sleep, because that is another living hell. Snoring. So back to the store situation. I mostly got stuck with bunkies who didn't have a lot of stuff. They didn't have a lot of money. Things worked out. I also didn't mind it because you also had someone to hold down your cell. In county, the doors would pop open. They didn't slide open. So someone could run into your cell and steal something. And trouble was always looking for trouble. So one day, what this motherfucker does, because he was ear hustling, he knew that I was using multiple accounts. Let's say it's 4 to 5 accounts a week, including mine. We get our order, and my bag is gone. It didn't come with the order. But nobody else's is gone, just mine.